Hey, what's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Duty, and you're watching Duty's Daggers. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You'll be really happy that you did it. And also follow me on Instagram, Duties_Daggers. So, today we're talking about some Rough Riders. If you're not familiar, Rough Ryder is a company that makes primarily slip joints and lockbacks, but as you can see here on the table, they do venture into the modern knife realm once in a while, and they don't do a bad job at it either. Rough Riders are very cheap slip joints. These two, actually all three of these, are under 20 bucks. But the amount of quality that you're getting for the price is actually pretty surprising. Now they do have a higher end line of knives called the Rough Ryder Reserve, which are still really well priced, but they're above the $20 realm. So if you want something a little more fancy, not fancy, but a little bit better quality than these, then check out Rough Ryder Reserves. But if not, if you're like me and your knife budget isn't that big all the time, and sometimes you just have a hankering to buy a new knife and you don't have that much money to spend on one, go to SmokyMountainKnifeWorks.com. That's where you can find the best selection and largest selection of Rough Ryder knives. And go take a look at what they have over there. There are literally hundreds of different Rough Ryder designs, blade shapes, patterns, whatever you want to call them. There will be something on there for you. I guarantee it. And it's going to be probably under $15, maybe even less. So that's just a good way to, buy yourself a new knife, kind of scratch that itch without spending too much money. So let's take a look at some of these. This one here is my favorite of the three, and definitely my favorite Rough Ryder I've ever tried. I've tried quite a bit more than is here on the table now. These are just the three that I own at the moment. This is the Rough Ryder Work Knife. It's just called the Work Knife. And this thing is really good. It's less than 20 bucks. It's a sway back kind of Warncliffe design. Just really excellent blade shape for EDC, for any type of work really. Opening packages, tearing into stuff. Just really good blade shape for that. Nice low tip that's thin. This thing is slicey. You can see the handle kind of swoops up towards the back. And that's really nice because it kind of, if you're holding it like this with your index finger, putting pressure down on the point for draw cuts, that kind of swell back here falls right in your palm, right down here, and it kind of just braces up against your hand, and it gives you a lot of control of the tip. So this thing is, it's called the Work Knife for a reason. It's meant to be put to work, and it's designed for that. We have green and black layered micarta handles, really nice looking too. We have stainless steel bolsters, and then I think these are probably brass or copper, probably brass liners. We have brass pins and a nice little lanyard hole back there. I usually don't put lanyards on knives, but this one I felt like it really needed it. I think it looks awesome. We have a big old swedge here at the top of the blade, probably mostly for looks, but I like it. Now the action on this guy is really good. The walk and talk is very stiff. We have a real stiff half stop right here, and then the amount of pressure that it takes to get it to fully open is pretty high. There's a lot of tension here, which is good. That's what you want in a slip joint. You don't want it to easily be folded down while you're using it, and this one definitely will not. It's definitely a good medium-sized knife, full grip on it. This thing is awesome. Be careful when you're closing it, because if you don't close it slowly, there's a lot of force coming down on that blade. And one time I actually got my pinky stuck underneath here. I was holding it like this, and I went to close it, and sliced very deeply into my pinky. So if you do it like that, be careful. We got a nice nail nick up there for grabbing and opening. This thing is really awesome. I would say just go get one right now. Just go get one. You will be happy with it. They're very cheap, very good. The Rough Ryder work knife. Next up, we have the Rough Ryder. I don't even think it has a name. It's just called the hawkbill. I'll put a link to all these below, so don't worry about trying to find them. This is a pretty crazy one. I've never owned a knife with a hawkbill blade like this, but I bought it because it looked cool, and I've carried it around for a couple weeks now, on and off, and there's a lot of really good uses for this blade shape. It's really good to get in behind stuff to cut. I actually cut a couple of zip ties with this thing, no problem. It's thin behind the edge, so it seems to slice through them pretty well. You know, get in the lip of a package to cut the tape. Really good for that. You can find all kinds of good uses for this thing. And although it is really wide right here, it does still fit into my coin pocket or my fifth pocket in my pants. So you know, pretty easy to carry, even though it is pretty wide. We got a big old nail nick here with Rough Ryder's signature jimping inside there. Doesn't really do anything, just kind of for looks. I think it looks pretty cool. We got a high polish on the blade. Looks really nice. Oh yeah. We have some bone handles. I don't think this is real bone. I would be surprised if it was, but it definitely looks good. For sure looks good. We have the Rough Ryder shield there. We have the Rough Ryder logo up here on the bolster. Looks like we have stainless steel backlock or back spring here, and then brass liners. And you can see there, it's made out of 440 razor sharp steel. So that's kind of cool. They're Rough Ryder's kind of telling you, hey, this is made of sharp steel, and that's what you want to know when you buy a knife, right? Got a little lanyard hole back here. That's pretty cool. You know, if you don't even end up using it, it's a cool thing to have in the collection. And actually, it was brought to my attention that it might actually be meant to be held this way for, I'm not exactly sure what. But you can see the handle's kind of swooped up like this. You could hold it like this, but it's a much more aggressive swoop than on the work knife. You can see. So it was brought to my attention that it might actually be meant to be held this way, which makes sense. It's really comfortable, so you could get in behind stuff, pop straps, whatever you need to do. But you could also hold it this way. It's not very uncomfortable. So that's the Rough Ryder hawkbill. Now let's get on to something a little more modern. I saw this one on the website, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and I thought, hey, I wonder if Rough Ryder makes a good Framelock. It was really cheap. I think it was even like 12 or 13 bucks. Really cheap. And I figured for that much money, you know, it would only have to be kind of good for me to want to buy it. You know what I mean? For it to be worth it. We have a blue anodized aluminum show side scale. We have kind of this black washed lockside stainless steel. Pretty good pocket clip. It's not deep carry, but it does work really well. Kind of reminds me of the 80-20.5 pocket clip. The pocket clip is reversible. You can see it has a filler tab here for whatever side that's not on. So that's kind of a nice little touch. We got two means of deployment. We have a window here for the reverse flick. Actually works really good. And we have a flipper tab. This detent is actually pretty darn good. I mean, this thing flies out with the reverse flick especially. Yeah, it's pretty... Yeah, it's really not bad. I really like the blade shape too, which is kind of the main reason I bought the knife. This is just a really cool blade shape. It's almost like a thin spear point. Probably would be considered a drop point, but regardless, it's a really low tip. You know, you're going to be really good at slicing utility cut style. It's a hollow grind, thin at the edge. It's a cool looking knife, right? I think this thing looks freaking cool. Ergonomically, it's really not bad either at all. I don't feel the pocket clip. I can get a full grip on it. A little bit of jumping here, not much. And you can choke up. Not the most generous area here for you to choke up on, but it's decent. You know, it's not going to fall shut. It's not one of those. But super reliable flip. Good design, good blade shape. Not the best steel at all. It's, what do we got? Doesn't even say. So I'm guessing it's probably something pretty bad. But for 12, 13 bucks, I think this is a super good beater knife. Or for somebody who's just getting into the knife game, or you don't want to, you know, maybe you want to gift a knife to somebody who's not into knives. Give a knife to your buddy or your, you know, coworker or whatever. Get a couple of these and hand them out. I think anyone that doesn't know a whole lot about knives would be pretty stoked to get this thing. It's just cool. It looks really cool, and it's pretty darn functional too. So that's 3 Rough Ryders for you. I'll link all these below, and if none of these are really tickling your fancy, you can always look at all the other Rough Ryders that are on SmokyMountainKnifeWorks.com. There's going to be something on there for you. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching.